Now, when you two were little, were you both in 4-H?
I was not in 4-H.
Okay.
I was in 4-H and stuff and that. Seemed like for me, it was just a carry on of what the whole family tradition had been, from my oldest brother to me being the youngest and that. And so there was, as far as my family, there was many years of 4-H.
Did you present then animals at the fair?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Did you have
The
anyone that
the
was...
thing about going to the fair, which I remember most, we always used our own animals. We took what we felt was best on the farm, and you cared for it. You enjoyed working with it, and you had fun with it. And whatever prize you got at the fair, you were happy with it. You appreciated it. I mean, it was still, that animal was still your friend, and you were going to be taking it home and probably bringing it back in the next year. But no matter what you got for it, and it was another thing, it was a project to work with, and so it actually helped improve yourself in how to get along with people and animals and everything.
That's interesting. Did either of you have any particular animals that you were especially close to growing up?
Well, I think up through the years I've had my pets, my friends, and animals and stuff, but yet they were always a part of the farming operation, I guess, and that, and I guess you just learned to accept as they got older why you developed a new friend. That's about what I could say.
Bob was from a 4-H family, so that was how we got started doing it. And then about the time that we started in 4-H, he got elected to be on the school board. So I actually ended up learning more about 4-H than anybody probably.
So did you, when you were growing up though, you obviously had to do a lot of chores. Did you ever wish you'd been in 4-H? Or wish you were in 4-H at the time? Or?
Well, I had friends who were in 4-H, and I don't know, we just never did become part of it.
How many hours would you say a week of chores that would you have to do, say when you were 10 to 18 or 10 to 17 on the farm?
Well, I liked chore time in the evening, and I would hang around in the barn, and it was a good time to visit with my dad. I guess I was close to him. That's how my love of farming developed, was spending time with him and around the animals, helping with chores. I've always liked it.
I guess myself and that it was always come out and help and stuff. As far as when I went to school, one of the things that I remember I had to do, which I got sick of and didn't really want to do, and that was when I would get home from school in the fall, when we started to get colder temperatures and that, was Mother would get after me, "Richard, you got to get out and get some wood in the wood box." And so my job was to fill the wood box. And of course, I remember I would fool around and that, and before you know it, it started getting dark. And yet again, no matter how dark it got, you had to go out to that woodshed and get the wood. But I didn't really care to go in the woodshed because it was dark, and you didn't know what could be in there and that. So then it kind of got to the point that you get out there before it got dark. So as the older I got, that's why I tried hard to get out of filling the wood box, and I would sneak down the barn. Well, then you got put to work there. And but as it kind of went on, it was gradually, I had more chores to do, such as carry the feed to the barn for the cows, and yet it was fun in the fall or in the winter time to get inside and it was, if you were cold, well, you would get in between the cows and get warmed up or stay active. There were a lot of fun times to remember about.
I thought it was interesting you mentioned how you developed a friendship with the animals and you kind of learned how to treat other beings. I noticed, nowadays people don't have horses as much. They have fewer and fewer animals. Do you think that possibly they're missing out as part of an important part of the education of people to be around animals that can give them the kind of feedback that might be helpful that maybe other people wouldn't give them, that their people wouldn't give them? I'm just thinking about my children playing with my cat, and of course if the cat doesn't like something, the cat's going to scratch them, which is kind of good feedback for them to know what's appropriate and not appropriate behavior. Would you say you learn a lot about conditioning theory and how to treat another being in a way that builds friendship and rapport with them in working with animals?
I would say it's very helpful because for one thing, you have to learn to respect, and also when you work with them enough, there is a certain point, I think, where animals can respect you, but you have to always kind of think what the animal is going to do. And so there are times, I think, that maybe when the friendships get a little bit too much, maybe we trust them a little bit more than we should, but yet again, it comes down to, I know I've been quite a dog lover, and that I was told once that you must never lie to a dog. And I really thought about that hard, and there is a lot to that. Because if you tell a dog to do something and it's not there or whatever, and you try to coax him to do it, and he goes and he finds that the object is not there, you do that too many times and he's not going to trust you. And so that's just the thing that I've noticed, that you have to develop a certain trust and bond between the animals, a horse or a dog, or I don't know how a cat is. I haven't worked much with cats, but even animals that way, in that, because they can kind of sense what your reactions are, or what you're going to do.
I think you see lots of pets though nowadays. A big percentage of people have dogs, and I would say that they take quite good care of them.
Have either of you ever had any experiences where you've been shoved or thrown by a bull or a cow or any other animal?
I had a close call here about 5 years ago. The veterinarian was there treating a cow for me, and he made the comment, he said, when this animal comes to and gets up, he said, I wouldn't be too sure about being too close to it, because they can have some reactions. And in all my dairy farming years, I had never had this happen before. When this particular cow got up, she turned and she took right after me. And I was lucky enough to get out of the way and stuff and that. And it was just a complete surprise, because the veterinarian had just told me this, and this particular situation happened. And that was kind of one out of the many years that I had farmed that happened to me. I did have to say one thing. After being around dairy cattle, I did not know what it is like to be around beef cattle, because you have to be more cautious, you have to be more alert around beef. They are not dairy, because of what you have developed as far as friendship. And I think Barb could vouch to that with the beef.
Yes, because you're with them every day.
Yes, yeah.
Bob did have one episode where a bull got him down on the ground. And fortunately, it was early in the morning, summertime. The windows were open in the house, and I heard him yelling and calling for me to come and help. And so I did get him distracted, so he was able to get up. And that bull went to market very soon.
Yeah, I noticed that with the beef cattle, they, if we separated our beef cattle, and then we brought them back together again, it was almost like a clan warfare. They would fight again and reestablish who's dominant.
That's right.
And I think that's also true. You had to maintain dominance in the herd with a beef cattle, because I spent my whole childhood in the cow pasture. So my younger brother and I, we were always maintaining dominance among the bulls. And we had like 4 to 6 of them, so they were always fighting, but we would always hit them with a stick or something. It's amazing we're alive still, but I noticed that some people who were more friendly with them, they sometimes got in trouble.